Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Kayla Thompson here, and today we're diving into a book that had me ugly crying, cheering, and low-key screaming at my Kindle all at once. This book is called Shadows of Summer by Angel Keck, and it's a really good book, and hopefully when this review is over it prompts you to go by and read this book. If you love morally gray characters, gut-punching trauma arcs, messy real-life emotions served with the side of hope, stay tuned because this review is honest, emotional, and yes, lightly spoilery. Shadows of Summer is a contemporary young adult novel. Think courtroom drama meets emotional survival story. Okay, let's talk about the characters because honestly, they make the book hit so much harder. First up, Zoe Harper, our protagonist, our heart, and our warrior. Zoe is wow. She's been through hell as a kid, and the trauma she carries could have broken her, but instead, she's resilient, quiet, but fiercely determined and painfully real. Watching her reclaim her voice, face her abuser in court, and start imagining a future, it's gut-wrenching and inspiring all at once. So, Zoe is the kind of character who makes you want to stand up and cheer, even when you're crying. Then there's Jax, her love interest, and anchor. Honestly, Jax is the kind of guy we all want in our corner. He's calm, patient, and genuinely supportive. He doesn't swoop in like some fairy tale hero to save Zoe. He's just there as her support animal, but in human form. Holding space, grounding her, showing her that love can be gentle and respectful. I loved him for that because most of all, through those times, that all the things that she was going through, she needed that. She needed Jax. Sarah, Zoe's best friend, is everything. Loyal, witty, practical, but also soft where Zoe is sharp. She's the friend who makes you laugh, but also carries her own weight. Like, their friendship is honestly one of the most comforting parts of the story. And the scene where she opens up about her own past, it's so good. And of course, Zoe's mom, she's loving, protective, and a quiet force of stability. You can tell she's doing her best, and that love really helps Zoe survive the storm. On the darker side, we have Harold, the antagonist. The guy is chilling because he's realistic. We've all met I feel like, I ain't gonna say we all, I feel like most of us have met a Harold in our life. And he's not some over-the-top villain, just someone who manipulates and hides behind a mask of normalcy while causing unimaginable harm. He's the reason Zoe's story is so powerful because confronting him is literally reclaiming her life. And finally, Zoe's legal team, Rebecca and Alyssa. Rebecca is confident and strategic. Alyssa is calm and grounding. They show the importance of support and advocacy. Without them, Zoe couldn't have faced the courtroom with the courage she had, Bottom line, these characters are real. They feel real. They make you root for them and make the book unforgettable because there's no way I can forget about this book at this point. I've read it, it's instilled in my head. The emotional trauma is there now. The vibe, emotional and suspenseful with moments of warmth and friendship that hit like a hug when you didn't know you needed one. Also, there's a slow burn romance that'll make you grin through tears. And yes, you can hold this book like a security blanket. I highly recommend this book. Okay, so why I picked up this book? All right, so honestly, I found an author on Facebook looking for support, and I just couldn't help myself. I've been an author. I am still an author that still needs support. So the author, Angel Keck, explained to me what the book was about, and I was sold. Plus, I needed a book that mixes messy emotional growth with romance, and this delivered. This definitely delivered, honey. Here's what I loved first. Zoe herself. She's such a strong, believable character, and the author does a fantastic job showing her fear, her bravery, and her quiet moments of self-doubt. I also love the friendships. Sarah's scenes were so genuine. I wanted to text my bestie mid-chapter, and bond with her in that way even more. It just was relatable. It resonated with me. Having a friend right there through the worst times of your life can really help you overcome these issues. The writing is clean, accessible, and pulls you right into the emotions. The pacing, honestly, perfect. It balances suspense, introspection, and emotional beats so well. Things that didn't work, honestly, I struggled a bit with the first few chapters because the emotional weight is heavy. And I don't mean that in a bad way. So if you're looking for something light and breezy, this might not be it, because this comes with a lot of stuff. But for me, that heaviness, it is why it worked. Honestly, it moved me. So let's talk about the world building. Even though this book isn't fantasy, my normal reads, the author builds a world out of emotions. Every environment, Zoe's old town, her mother's new house, the hospital, even the police station, is designed to reflect her internal landscape, like the small town atmosphere. At first, it feels claustrophobic, filled with gossip, tension, and hidden judgment. All those ingredients that come with being and living in a small town. You can practically feel the weight of the community watching Zoe, which mirrors how trauma survivors often feel seen yet misunderstood. The relocation scenes, when Zoe and her mom move, the new environment feels lighter, quieter, and almost symbolic, like a breath of fresh air after suffocating from grief. Like the world around her evolves as she does, creating a subtle sense of hope and rebirth. So the author doesn't rely on big visual set pieces or magical world building. Instead, the world feels real, as I said, because it's emotionally immersive. The light, the air, the silence, and the way people interact all deepen the experience. So let's talk about the plot. This book follows Zoe, a young woman trying to rebuild her life after surviving a deeply traumatic event that left her both physically and emotionally scarred. The story opens in the aftermath of this tragedy. Zoe is withdrawn, she's isolated and haunted by what happened to her. Her mother, desperate to help, moves them to a new town for a fresh start. But starting over isn't easy, especially after you've been through something so traumatic, just as Zoe has. So Zoe struggles with nightmares, flashbacks, and guilt, trying to piece together who she was before everything changed her. Through quiet, emotional moments, we see her learning to trust again, especially with Jax, someone who becomes a safe space for her, and with Claire, a counselor who helps her rediscover her voice. So she has all the right people in her corner to help her get through this. The plot isn't driven by big action scenes or fantasy battles. It's about healing. Each chapter peels back another layer of Zoe's recovery, and confronting her trauma, finding the courage to speak out, which is very hard to do after you've been through something that she has, and learning that healing isn't linear. The tension comes from inside, from her fear, her memories, and her slow journey toward reclaiming control. It was slow, but she was getting there, and that's all that matters. So by the final chapters, the story builds toward a quiet but powerful triumph. Zoe finally telling her story on her own terms, surrounded by people who believe her. Watching Zoe reclaim her voice and confront her abuser in the court gave me chills. Seriously, I might have whispered, "Yes, queen," through a few tears. But throughout all of this, she had Jax. The love story with Jax is subtle, supportive, and healthy. Exactly what you want when the protagonist is healing from trauma. So the ending, bittersweet but hopeful, showing that survival isn't just about enduring. It's about building a future worth stepping into. The emotional arc hit hard, and I'm still thinking about it days later after reading this book. Some standout moments was the swing scene with Sarah, a pure friendship moment that reminded me that healing doesn't have to happen alone. Then there's Zoe getting her college acceptance letter. And then, and the courtroom confrontation, like, powerful doesn't even cover it. One of my favorite lines from Zoe is, and I quote, "I'm here because I finally remembered. And what he did didn't end that night. It didn't end when he left. It lived in me for years. In nightmares and silence and the way I flinched when people got too close. But now it ends with me telling the truth." Bro, I had chills on that part. So my final thoughts and rating, overall I'm giving this a 5 out of 5 stars. It's emotional, gripping, and ultimately empowering. Oh my god, I suck with these words. If you like stories about reclaiming your voice and trauma, then you need to read this. Would I read the author's next book? Absolutely. Yes, I will. So, what did you think of this book? Drop your thoughts below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more reviews.